How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another week of the virtual Youth Professional Skills Development Program. This is week 5, and as you can probably tell already, we're doing things a little bit differently this week, just trying out something new for you guys, but same format as the other weeks. We'll have a discussion here today, and then will be a weekly question for you to answer through our online submission, which will be in the video description below. Once you guys have filled that out for this week, you'll be good to go. We'll have another video coming up for you next week. Things will be a little bit different for that as well. So stay tuned for those updates. But without further ado, we will hop into week 5's discussion here right now. Alrighty, everybody. So we are into week 5 now. This is June 1st. It's crazy to think we're already halfway through this year. But today's format will be a little bit different, both in the type of lesson that we have. It's going to be a little bit more informal, sort of a discussion, and we have some other program news to share with you as well. So today's discussion is going to be about online professional resources. And because there is a lot of diversity in the interests that you guys have about the program, or just in your career choices in general, we're just going to point out some of the community center's favorite resources that are online for you guys that are going to be free and can kind of give you an idea maybe about some of the things involved in a career that you might already have interest in, or like we talked about a few weeks back, there will be some resources there that might help you determine a career that might suit you best in the future if you don't have anything in mind already. If this is your first week here, welcome. We are sort of coming to the end of the program here online, but we're glad that you joined us. And if you are returning for your 5th week, hopefully, thanks for joining us again. So you guys should be familiar with how things work here with the virtual program, but if not, also in the video description, you will find the link to the program introduction video. It is free to participate, and you actually earn a little bit of money by joining us each week if you fill out our weekly question submission. So as I mentioned, this week's discussion will be about online professional resources. And we'll go through some of the community center staff's favorites, professional blogs, websites, podcasts, that kind of stuff that are all free to you to listen through or to read through to give you guys an idea of what it's like to be a professional in the 21st century, whether that's through developing your skills like this program is designed to do, or just growing your knowledge of a certain career field. We've got a lot of diversity here in these topics for you guys today. We'll be going through 8 of our favorite resources. But before we do that, I have to switch gears a little bit to my least favorite part of our discussion today. And that is that we will be having a shift in staff for the program. This is very exciting for the community center and for you guys, but a little bit disappointing for me, as this will be my last week with you guys on this journey. So if you have only been on board with us for the virtual program, I would have loved a chance to have met all of you guys in person, but for those of you who have been on board for our in-person junior staff program in the past, disappointed I won't be able to chat with you guys before I head out from my position at the community center, but hopefully we cross paths sometime in the near future. But in the meantime, the community center has brought our newest staff member on board, listed here, and this is Sam. She's going to be taking over the program for me starting next week. She's actually going to be joining us today on our discussion, and she's going to be giving some of her input on those topics that I was just mentioning. So once again, thank you guys for being part of this journey and that I'm able to have led you there. And if hopefully you and I cross paths in the future. So I'm going to get Sam on board here with us, and we'll get started with today's discussion. So guys, we're back here now. Sam is on board with me. Sam, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Beautiful day. So as we're just explaining, guys, Sam is going to be jumping on board with us starting today. And for next week's video, she's going to be taking care of that for you guys. So something exciting, a little bit of a switch up from what you were expecting, but I'm sure you guys will enjoy it just the same. So we're going to get into, as I mentioned, 8 of our favorite websites, podcasts, blogs, that kind of stuff that will help you guys be developing as a professional in the coming years. And the first one of which I'm going to go ahead and talk about with you guys. And you might have heard about this site before. It's pretty popular in school and that kind of thing. But if not, I definitely want to introduce you to one of my favorites, and that is TED.com. You've probably heard of a TED Talk before. This is a pretty big network globally, actually, of a lot of different professions and innovative topics. And I've included a screenshot of their website here for you guys to take a look at. These are a collection of podcasts, webinars, interviews, and inspirational, motivational speaker sessions that they host around the globe, all ages, all interests, all walks of life. So this is a really diverse site that I think you guys could find a lot of great information from. As you can see down there at the bottom of that screenshot, it suggests some topics that are popular in the world right now. And there are a variety of them to take a look through. They all have a professional or a scientific background of some kind. So feel free to browse around on that website. I know, like I said, these are used a lot in the education world. So if there's anything on there that interests you, it's great. They also have a variety of podcasts. So if you go up there to Discover at the top of the screen, there is a list of all of the services they have. Lots of great podcasts with professional speakers, celebrities, people who are inspirational in a lot of career fields. So that's something that really excites me about this site. But TED actually stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. So while the categories of careers aren't limited to those 3, that's sort of the broad overview. And there's a lot of great videos. There are also a lot of free ones on YouTube. So if you go online and just Google TED Talk of whatever career field you're interested in, there will be a lot of great content there for you guys. So that's one of my personal favorites to kick things off. And if you guys have any questions about any of the things we go through today, don't hesitate to email Samantha. Her email will be at the end of the video in the contact form. So we'll move on to the next one here, which is going to be Sam's first blog, and that is Copyblogger.com. She's going to talk a little bit about why she enjoys this site.
Before I get into that, I will second you on the TED. There are so many awesome things from TED. Like if you didn't choose that, I definitely would have. So Copyblogger, a lot of what I do is copywriting, stuff like that. But even though that's in a marketing tool, I really feel like writing in general is a great skill to have. I mean, I feel like anyone going into any sort of career, if you have any kind of writing background at all, like that's just an added bonus. So what I really like about this is they actually have some trainings and like a start here, if you see on the website. So they really kind of help you out. And you can see that they definitely have different topics as well. How to keep clients. I mean, I feel like anyone can use that. It's not necessarily just a marketing thing. And then they have fun stuff too. If anyone is into the Princess Bride, you can see they have that Inigo Montoya guide to the 27 most misused words, which was pretty entertaining to read actually. And they have a podcast as well. So it's not necessarily something you have to read, but you can also listen to kind of like everything else. So I kind of flip back and forth between it. And I really feel like it has helped with helping me create stuff, because sometimes you get kind of stuck in a rut and you really just kind of need that reiteration of that's how I do this, or yeah, let me get back into that. And I feel like this website kind of helped me out with that.
Sure. And probably to preface this for you guys, so Sam will have a chance to introduce herself a little bit more in next week's video, but Sam does have a background in marketing. So she is taking care of that for the community center now, as well as wrapping up this program with us. But yeah, definitely a great option here. And as she mentioned for podcasts, if you guys aren't familiar with it, there are a couple more on this list. And as I mentioned, TED does have several. But for those of you who may not know what a podcast is, it's basically just a recording, sort of like what we're doing right now, but without a video, that you can find on a lot of websites, and even through just your smartphone. Like I know if you have an iPhone as an example, they have a podcasts app that comes on your phone, tons of free content on there. And all of the places that we're going to talk about today most likely have their podcast on Apple Podcasts or whatever they call it. So great option there for you guys. And this is a great site. So thanks for bringing this one up, Sam. So we will move on to our next site, which is a podcast. So great intro there. This is one of my personal favorites, mostly because there are tons of podcasts out there, for those of you who might be familiar with them, that are just like an hour or two in length, and it can be really exhausting to listen to and hard to as well, because if you don't have time to dedicate to sit down and listen to it, you've got to come back later. And for me, I struggle with my train of thought being interrupted. So this is a great one. Honestly, it's been my favorite for a long time, mostly because it's like 5 minutes. So the title there, Before Breakfast, really is like, when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, or when you first, get out of bed, or you're making breakfast, or while you're eating breakfast, you can listen to it. This lady does a variety of topics, but they are all sort of motivational in nature or designed to help you develop as a professional. A lot of them are about work, so that's why it's kind of relevant to this program. And while some of the topics might be a bit advanced in terms of taking time off at the office, while that might not apply to you guys, the theory about time management and scheduling and just sort of keeping yourself in check in your daily life, I would say that the biggest benefit, though, is that it's daily. So a lot of podcasts do like weekly stuff, but she's pretty frequent on the content. There's like one a day. So that's really nice. Like on my morning drive, I'll just start off with that. So a lot of great content there for you guys, and they're really easy to listen to. They're fun. It's not like super scientific or anything. It's going to be hard to follow along with. So highly recommend this. This is also on like Apple Podcasts. So you guys can find that on pretty much any online site that hosts podcasts, I believe. So it's actually sponsored through iHeartRadio. So I think it's on their app as well. So something to keep in mind. Moving on, Sam is going to discuss Social Media Examiner.
Awesome. So another thing that I do a lot of is social media. And if anyone knows anything about social media, you know that it changes all the time. And there are so many options out there, and it's hard to kind of keep up with everything. So this website has really helped out with keeping up with the changes in technology. And they have a really cool conference too, that obviously to go to in person would be awesome, but they actually do it online. So you don't have to physically attend to get all the cool information from it. But whenever you're working with social media, yet again, no matter really what you're doing, if you kind of know social media, a lot of places will love that you have that kind of background, that you can help them out with their own social media to try to get more followers and interactions. So it never hurts to just have a little bit of knowledge about that. And this website really, I feel like, dives deep into that and really gives you tips on what you should do, maybe what you shouldn't do, don't want to overwhelm you, and really how to get the most out of what you're doing for the company that you're working for. And they have podcasts as well. And I'll second the podcasting. It's kind of nice that you don't have to physically watch someone. You can kind of like have it on in the background and do other stuff. Like you said, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, even over lunch, something like that. So podcasts are pretty cool that you don't have to necessarily 100% pay attention, but you're getting something out of it while you're listening to it.
For sure. Yeah. And especially when you have some downtime, like you said, on your lunch break, or if you're in the car going on vacation this summer, hopefully it's a great place to catch up on some motivational podcasts or something like this. So thanks for bringing this one up, Sam. Moving on. I'm not sure if they have a podcast, but this has been a favorite of mine for quite some time. I've subscribed to Wired for even like back when magazines were popular. I've been interested in them for quite some time, but this definitely caters to more of a technology or pop culture side of things. If you're interested in the business world or the technology world, science, as you can see some of their popular categories across the top bar there. And most of their popular stories, when I took this screenshot, were about coronavirus, as you can probably imagine. But there's also some stuff on there about popular technology, and they have really good reviews on stuff too. But there are very informative articles about what's popular from a technology side of things, in medicine, which is obviously really popular right now. But they have just a really great mix of business and science and technology, which are things that I'm passionate about. So definitely if you are into maybe engineering, or you're into construction, or business, science, medicine, that kind of stuff, this is a great site to go read. Some more informal discussions, more like articles than they are blogs, but they definitely are very informative and very professional. So I recommend checking out Wired online. It's wired.com. Sam will now talk about Grammarly.
All right. So I found Grammarly a few years ago, and it's like the most amazing spell checker you could ever have. So yet again, with writing all the time, I rely on spell check. And what's cool about Grammarly is that it actually kind of checks your grammar and gives you more suggestions on how to write better and write more clearly. So a lot of times, if you're just using a regular spell check, or maybe you write the wrong word and the spell check's not going to catch that because you spelled the word correctly, but it's the wrong word. That's what's cool about Grammarly, because it kind of knows what kind of sentence you're trying to form, and it'll be like, I don't think you used the right word with this. So, going back to that writing thing, and even in regular everyday speech, I mean, if you can write well, then you can speak well. So I feel like Grammarly has really helped out with a lot of my writing and kind of helping me figure out what kind of tone. One of the new things that they have put out is, what kind of tone are you trying to put out? So they'll have like a little smiley face, or like a little thoughtful, empowering, stuff like that. So it's a really cool website. You actually can download it to like Google and Word, everything. So it's interfaced into every program that you have. So it really helps you no matter what format you're writing in. So I rely on this all the time.
Yeah, that's super important too, because I know one thing that's hard in the technology age is making sure your tone is communicated properly. I mean, I know I'm definitely not alone when you send a text message to somebody and they totally misinterpret what you said, just because you can't really identify somebody's tone through just words, on
Yeah.
email or text. So super important. Also, I know, the social media aspect of it is really great too, because I find that people sort of let their professionalism slide, slack off in professionalism when they're online, maybe forego grammar or proper spelling. But definitely as we move forward in this program, and as you guys move forward in life, employers will go back and look at your social media accounts. So we've talked about that before. But you definitely want to make sure that you're not exhibiting any signs of unprofessionalism through the way that you write online. So this is a great way to make sure that you're doing it right. Alrighty, so for me, this will be my last site. But for those of you who aren't familiar with LinkedIn, I highly recommend that you go research them a little bit. I like to refer to them sort of as the professional Facebook, because Facebook really is not very professional. But this is a virtual networking website that professionals primarily use to go online and look for jobs, or to host their resume, which we talked about last week. Host their resume online for employers to see, and just a great way to keep in touch with people on a professional level without all the advertising and games and stuff that other social media sites have. So this is strictly professional. It's free to make. I recommend you guys get one going at some point in the near future, and you upload your resume. It's kind of a more in-depth version of a resume, in fact, and you can have some graphical elements too. Because as we talked about last week, you're going to be looking at one page worth of information on your resume, but this kind of allows you to expand on that. If an employer was interested in finding out more about you, this would be a great way for them to go look. But on this blog side of things, because it is a professional site, they host a lot of professional topics, discussions, and blog posts, which is here. So if you guys just look online for LinkedIn official blog, this is just a sample of the topics that they have on there. But these are just the top of the page. I figured I would share with you guys. So as you can see, they've got posts about technology, geography, engineering, that kind of stuff. So a lot of, under their featured posts there, you can see they've got quite a few. So as you scroll down that page online, you'll see that there are a ton of topics. And so if you guys have an interest in finding out more, this is sort of like TED, but more of a blog format. So you guys can find a topic on there that is suitable for your career field, or maybe just your interests or your hobbies, and learn some more about it. So that's something I felt you guys would enjoy taking a look at. And while you're there, like I said, check out the services LinkedIn has to offer, because it is a very powerful tool for finding jobs, but also just for advertising yourself online for professional environments. So last but not least, Sam is going to discuss one of a site and a podcast that she's interested in.
I'll second on the LinkedIn as well. I mean, it's definitely a great place to network with peers and find people maybe not even in this area that you can reach out to, that maybe are in a field that you want to be in, and they can kind of give you an idea of what they're doing, and you can link up with them and learn more information about it. So that's a lot of what I have used LinkedIn for, and business is kind of connecting, and not only with people in the area, but other places, so that I could grow and learn in my own field. So
definitely,
LinkedIn is definitely a great thing to do. So I really love this podcast. This is really for anyone. It really helps with presentation, public speaking, giving confidence to yourself whenever you're communicating, which is so important. If you don't have confidence whenever you're talking, people can tell, and then you kind of are anxious, and then maybe the people listening to you are anxious. So it really helps you kind of be yourself. And I really like that this woman, Christina, she wants to help business professionals have better communication skills. Some of the things that recently came out was how to advocate for yourself in the workplace. Anyone can really use that. And you really need to be able to kind of have that confidence and experience and let yourself be free and be yourself. So I really thought this would be great for anyone, not just someone who maybe has to speak all the time or do presentations. So it's definitely a really cool podcast, and even website. If you're not into the podcast thing, you can read the blogs and kind of get the gist of everything as well.
If you've been around in this program at any point in the past, we really haven't focused a whole lot on it during this virtual portion, but for those of you who were around when we were in person at the community center, we have talked at length about the importance of communication skills, and how most employers, when you come into a workplace for an interview, or even just talk to somebody informally, they are definitely judging you based on your communication skills and your confidence as well. So something like this is a great way to continue building that, especially if you consider yourself to be more of a shy person. One day, you're probably going to have to go interview with somebody, whether that's in a format like we're doing right now, or if it's going and sitting in somebody's office. Learning to vouch for yourself and be confident in the way that you speak and communicate to that person is extremely important. So this is a great one for sure. Definitely communication is a topic that I am passionate about. So this is a great one. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
So that about wraps it up for us today, guys. The links to all of those websites will be in the description as well. But today's weekly question is to go online. And as Sam and I both said, we love TED Talks, very informational, very educational. And there's just a whole lot of them to look at. So find one that interests you guys and submit the link to me. You don't have to specifically go to that link there, but if you just Google or YouTube TED Talk about gardening, say you're interested in gardening, find something online, a TED Talk, whether that be the video format on YouTube or a podcast format, and submit that link to us in the weekly submission, which the link to that's also in the description as usual. So this is a little bit maybe challenging, because you might have to think of a topic that you're interested in, but if you have nothing in mind right now, totally fine. Just go ahead and browse through there. Maybe, if you're interested in playing video games, not that that's necessarily an inappropriate topic by any means, so feel free to submit it. That's definitely a viable career field for sure. So just love to hear from you guys about the kind of topics that interest you, and kind of getting to read through those. So that'll do it for us today, guys. And for me, for the remainder of the program. So Sam's information is here, as she's going to be taken over for us. So if you guys have any questions about this week, and obviously you can still reach out to me, but Sam's going to be doing next week's video. So weekly submission will be due by Sunday at midnight. If you have any program questions, shoot an email over to Sam at that address right there. But otherwise, we will plan to see you guys in the next one. Sam, thanks for jumping on with me today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited.
Good. All right, guys. Well, she'll introduce herself a little bit more next week. But thanks again, and we'll catch you guys soon. Have a great week.